Hey there, I'm Mr. Terry. I'm a high school history teacher. Welcome back to another History Teacher Reacts video. All right, back with some memes. It's time to check out another Drew Durnil collection. All right, this one's called Losers of World History. Ooh, this could get tragic. All right, original videos down below. Make sure you're supporting Drew. And let's get started. The U.S. spending 180 years building up beautiful, rich, and dense cities with amazing infrastructure that were the envy of the world. Okay, let's see what we got.
180 years building up beautiful, rich, dense cities with amazing infrastructure that were the envy of the world. Then in comes suburbanization and the automobile, which are
it made our cities ugly. Our cities have been so ugly since suburbanization because of the invention of automobile. Now they're just ugly. Go to like big sprawling ugly things like Houston or something.
pretty much direct links right there. This is a tough one because the automobile ruined all that stuff, but at the same time, the automobile saved us. The best thing and worst thing to happen in the U.S.
Drew showing the guns.
End credit scene.
Showing
Fancy
the guns.
European guy. After that Waterloo business, I don't know how we're gonna maintain peace. Other fancy European guy, trust me, when I'm done, we'll have ourselves a concert of Europe. Or my name isn't Clemens von Menschenisch. I butchered that. I'm sorry. This man was basically tasked for maintaining the balance of Europe after Napoleon. Not as epic as the World War I end credit scene where the skinny mustache Austrian man comes walking in. Just let everyone know there's going to be a sequel. No one, the captain of the U.S.
The end credit sequence is is the Treaty of Versailles. You look at that. That's the scene after the credits, right? And you go, oh God, this is gonna need a sequel. No one. The captain of the U.S. Texas on D-Day.
Texas on D-Day. I may not have a brain, gentlemen, but I have an idea. That's right. We're going to flood our own ship in order to shoot further away. Sounds like he actually has a pretty big brain. Obviously, by doing this, they were able to then fire their weapons higher up, getting it to go further. German artillery. Yeah. Why is the American ship sinking itself? The USS Texas. My goals are beyond your understanding. And this was the very last thing that German artillery was going to hear because they were about to blow up. I just invented this new thing called the submarine. It's a boat that can go underwater. Awesome, but how does it attack? Well, we put a bomb on the end of a stick and ram into the enemy ship. Meanwhile, cut to a few casualties and one slump of war sunk and one submarine sunk.
All the attempts for that stuff, like submarine attempts basically before World War I, were also crappy. Like those things it's the last thing you wanted to be involved with if you got assigned to a job in the military. Was one of those early like prototype style submarines. They blow up, they sink. You're just in a coffin. That's what literally.
Guess that was worth it, kind of. Those 1860s subs were something else. Trudeau says Canada wants answers from India. A Canadian attacked on Canadian soil by a foreign country. The U.S. and Australia expressed deep concern. Meanwhile, India doing a little bit of research for their own arguments. I can't wait for your strongly worded letter. Oh man, this is gonna get heated. No.
They're gonna go back to similar to the United States. Removal and horrible treatment of indigenous peoples, right? So always gonna be able to throw that card up, right? All right, Germany.
Ooh, you can't base your defense strategy against the USSR on the entire destruction of West Germany with 150-kilometer range nuclear missiles. Haha, Pluton missile goes boom, says France. I guess this is how much the French really cared about West Germany during the Cold War. I didn't even really consider the fact that France was probably not the greatest fan of West Germany still. I mean, they were on the same side, but they still had a lot of history.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like the war just ended and they're like, we're friends now. Yeah, no.
Wernher von Braun originally designed the Saturn V rocket as a missile to bomb Serbia, but then he realized it could be also used to send astronauts to the moon.
That's what all of that
two birds, one stone, I guess. Did it achieve its goal in Serbia though, or well, the U.S. eventually would in the 90s.
So many technologies that we use not for war were started because of war. Rockets, of course, being one of them. Right? That's how a lot of that starts. You have to have something pushing the innovation because it's not always about making profits in the end, but it can be turned into profits at the end. And boy, the space race made a lot of people a lot of money if you were into the contracting and all that stuff.
In the year 1999, here we have Americans sitting on their wrecking ball, as well as the Serbs' house of cards. I don't think they realize what's about to happen. This isn't gonna go that well. American foreign policy.
I can tell you, Americans living at that time paid little to no interest in the U.S.'s involvement in Yugoslav wars. Just so you know, if you talk to Americans about it, and they're going to be like, oh, well, that thing was going on, I guess, right? So, yeah, it was not something like people were talking about in the United States, like, yeah, I'm going to take down Serbia. Like, no, nobody cared.
Be like, maybe give us the people who did 9/11 to Afghanistan.
9/11.
Maybe don't invade Kuwait to Iraq. Didn't happen, but it should have to Pakistan. Maybe don't oof children. Maybe don't oof random people. Maybe don't commit acts of... It seems like there's just one strategy here. Now Ukraine is taking over for us? You can't defeat me, says France, the UK, and the USA. I know, responds Italy. Oh, and cut to Italy now joining our side. That's one way to get around us. Pretty effective, too. Ooh, look, it's East Germany. They'll never get an anime adaptation. Meanwhile, 2 seconds later...
Did they really?
How did I not realize this existed?
Oh, no.
This literally takes place in East Germany. But
stop weebifying everything in history, please, okay? Please, weebs, separate the history content from the weebery. Please, please don't let them intersect. Closest I'll let you get was Vinland Saga. That's it. All right? Stop.
But they're also fighting aliens in skin-tight mech suits. What a combination. The ghosts of 17th century New England Puritans watching helplessly as millions of Irish people immigrate to the U.S., making New England majority Catholic. Yeah, this didn't really turn out the way they wanted. A lot of Puritans came over here from England during the 17th century, but yeah, this ended up being like the most Catholic part of the U.S. today. Europe handing over America cattle, horses, pigs, coffee, rice, bananas, sugarcane, and wheat. Meanwhile, Americans handing back cotton, chocolate, papaya, turkey, chili pepper, sweet potato. Seems like
we gave some stuff. America's gave some stuff back. Okay, come on. Like some of that became like just the potato. Think of German diet without potatoes today. All right. I know a lot of it was one way, especially the animal thing. Right. But there's plenty of stuff that came over. They got chocolate, your turkey, sweet potatoes are gross. I'm sorry, people that say that. Chilies. Yeah, that's great too. Think of Indian food without those chilies.
Handing back cotton, chocolate, papaya, turkey, chili pepper, sweet potato. Seems like an equal trade, I think. Both continents were just businessmen doing business. This man's character in the movie Oppenheimer was obviously a real-life person. His name was Boris Pash, and he was born in the year 1900. His allegiance was to the White Movement or the Russian Empire, not the Soviets. That actually explains a lot of the backstory why he really didn't like the Soviets. And he died at the age of 94 back in 1995, which means this man literally outlived the entire Soviet Union. He was born during the Russian Empire and lived long enough to see it become the Russian Federation. Why did they include this in the movie?
That's a person I want to interview. If I go back time, interview something, put on this channel, somebody that saw it before, during, and after. What a perspective that would have been.
1948 Arab-Israel War. We will destroy you. No. The 1967 Six-Day War. Nope. This time we'll win. No. Finally, 1973. This war. Third time's a charm. No.
Hence why now you get terrorist activities, because traditional warfare will not work in this. If you are, especially the Palestinians now, because now the Arab world's given up on it pretty much. Like actually getting involved with Israel now, but yeah.
Oh, this whole thing was a trilogy.
That's why terrorism.
A lot of people know about the Six-Day War. I'm assuming this must have gone even worse if I haven't heard about it.
Terrorism enters where traditional
Koreans
warfare
were involved in that as well. I lost the Yugoslav Wars, says Serbia. Yugoslav Wars. I lost 2 world wars, says Germany. I haven't won a war since 1912, says Bulgaria. Wait, you guys are winning wars,
Bulgarians.
Says Hungary. How long has it been since Hungary's got a dub then? If it's even worse than over 100 years for Bulgaria. The Soviet Union.
Y'all survived the Mongols, all right? You did it. You're good.
During the Cold War, saying frick you to the US, obviously. Saying frick you to the UK, West Germany, France, and Italy. Saying frick you to Israel, Japan, South Korea, and Pakistan. But then butting in and saying you're cool to Finland. Oh, I didn't expect them to be on here. They were a fan of the whole Finlandization thing. Oh, that meme was specifically talking about capitalist countries during the Cold War, and that's because the Finns used a policy of neutrality. Kind of interesting since now they joined NATO recently. Ooh, look, we have the Roman Empire.
So that's going to be one of the effects, no matter what happens out of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, is now NATO getting new members. Okay, and probably will continue to do so.
And the Byzantine Empire. Oh, but there's also the Holy Roman Empire and fascist
Mussolini,
Italy.
Shrek.
It just keeps getting worse. At least we know these two were the original. Get those filthy foreigners away from me, says Japan to Brazil. Chomp.
Oh, I think I learned that outside of Japan, the largest diaspora of Japanese people is in Brazil. I heard that. I didn't go like confirm it, but I heard that.
Oh my gosh. Wait, why does it say they're having chicken thoughts? They rolled out a new flag as well. Japan for a long time has had a crazy obsession with Brazil. They really love Brazil. Brazil is actually the #1 country for Japanese migrants. And it started in 1901 when Japan was still the Imperial Japanese Empire. In a way, maybe Brazil is kind of responsible for bringing out the anime. It wasn't just the 2 sons we dropped on them.
Not the only Axis power that had people move there. A lot of Germans went there after World War II as well.
Everyone said I was daft to build a submarine in the 1860s, but I built it all the same.
Yeah, but it
sank into the bay.
Yeah,
so I built a second one. That sank into the bay, so we built a third one. That burned down the USS Housatonic, exploded along with it, and then sank into a different bay. I mean, hey, as long as it was accomplishing something, it's the only thing that matters. The US Civil War was a crazy time. We have the succession crisis, and South Carolina is saying, I'm out. Meanwhile, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas, yeah, I'm out of the Union. And I think they were about to start a trend. I wouldn't go.
Gosh, that's such a good episode of Seinfeld. South Carolina, first to secede, everyone follows suit.
Though. 54 BC, Rome is about to win. Persia's about to win. 243 AD, Rome is about to win. Persia's gonna win. 628 AD, Rome is about to win. Persia's about to win.
By the way, probably one of the reasons why Constantine moved the capital to the east to build Constantinople, to be closer to the Persians. If you didn't know that.
I think either side realizes what is about to actually happen.
They're about to both be taken over. So, yep. Early Islamic caliphates are going to come in, and as Persia and Rome are exhausted from centuries of fighting each other, boom, you're going to come in, Arabs come in, fight both of them, take over both of them.
That the 700-year rivalry would end. The Islamic empires did.
Persia goes down, Sasanians go down. And then Constantinople is going to take a while, and that'll be with the Ottoman Empire, but they did take everything you're looking at here. So the areas in around Damascus and Jerusalem, and
not mess around at this time. Colonel rabble wiped out my whole Great Lakes squadron.
And then the Abbasids, and then the Ottomans.
Britannia rules the seas or lakes. The U.S. now have the 4 largest ships on the Great Lakes after capturing mine. So how about I build a new ship? Is that a first-rate ship of the line in Lake Ontario? Fine, you win, says the U.S. And they went back to ruling the seas or lake. This is how the U.S. would end up learning how to flex by their own dad. After construction in 1814, the ship's arrival on the lake ended all naval action. They basically built this thing, and everyone's like,
ships were so good looking back then. Our boats suck now. I know now warships, they have to be more, practical when it comes, or not even practical, but like, good and be heavily armored and stuff, but they have no style anymore. Like, look how good old ships look like that. These old British ones. The Dutch ones, they were so much better. They had style and usefulness. Like, all right, I wish we could find a way to do that.
We're not fighting anymore. Cost about 1% of the GDP of the United Kingdom to build a standard ship of the line. And they ended up scrapping it without even using it in any war, which took off like 3% of their GDP. Remember when Taiwanese pilots bombed Yemen while wearing Saudi Arabian uniforms because Jimmy Carter told them to? Pepperide
One of the many
definitely remembers. What is this old man talking about?
Secret interventions.
Like a Paradox game. Using a 13-month calendar where there's exactly 28 days in each month with exactly 4 weeks. Nah, this guy not doing it because
it would have been so much better.
Evil. Makes sense to me. It's funny how often in history, a lot of things we still use today based off of this reasoning, kind of. I've seen this movement more and more lately, like people actually trying to recreate the calendar. Oh, we made your grandpa.
It could still be better. Okay, we did a good job. Jovian calendar, blah, whatever. But like a Julian calendar, and then we're moving on, and it's pretty good. We could still a little bit better. We got to fix some stuff still, all right?
Was a war criminal in WW2, simple as. Meanwhile, the 16-year-old German kid whose grandpa was born in 1953. I feel like the Germans probably deal with this a lot, actually. Polish military in 1605. I just defeated 10,000 Swedes while only losing a few hundred men. Meanwhile, Polish military in 2020. What? Poland needs to Poland needs to go back to their roots, I think. Well, that's a hard statement to say for Poland. Certain roots, not others, because they disappeared. You can't defeat me, says this.
Roots of when they were independent. How about Polish, Lithuanian, Commonwealth? Dude, that was poggers.
old Libyan leader. I know, responds Chad,
Gaddafi?
but he can. In comes the Toyotas. Libya lost 1/10 of its army, or $1.5 billion worth of military equipment, destroyed. Chilean forces only suffered about 1,000. All they needed were these old Japanese trucks, too. I mean, I knew Toyota
they're
was
still killing it. Those, you look at some of the groups that are using those that aren't able to, like, militant groups that aren't able to modernize all the new stuff. A lot of them are still using old Toyotas that are still killing it, man. Toyota makes a good truck.
Cars, but this is just getting ridiculous. Georgia about to hand
Sponsor me,
something to literally the rest of the world. Oh, it's wine. Man, a lot of people are gonna love that too. Georgia just gave it to us and then just dipped. We ain't gonna do anything with that. France and Italy have fun. Dang Soviet, how can they still have the will to defend this city? Meanwhile, cut to Stalin saying, "Not a step back."
Exactly.
That is one way to get some will out of your people.
Stalingrad, baby.
Being allowed to take a step back. You got one option. Rome.
There's no other option. Stalin was you're going to do it. Like, we're not losing Stalingrad. We're not losing my city. We lose that. We lose the oil. We might lose the war, all that stuff. And Hitler, same things. Like, we're going in, even when we should obviously retreat, not going to do it, left to the slaughter. World War II's over.
In Germania, it
Romans
wasn't that
can't
impressive.
defeat the
Meanwhile,
Germans, man.
Rome during the Punic Wars. Wake up, Carthage. Time for round 39. Just continuing to obliterate these guys. Carthage really could have used some notes from the Germanic barbarians. Please pass civil rights, asks JFK. Man, shut up. Meanwhile, LBJ passed the damn bill. There's more to that.
JFK probably would have anyways, right?
Glory to the new Democrat.
Y'all think that JFK would have passed all that stuff anyways, right? A lot of it was inherited by LBJ. And yes, we know LBJ was definitely influenced by trying to get more Black American voters into the Democratic Party, which it was successful with the Civil Rights Act.
Democratic Party. Politics is funny. It's the reason why his last name was Johnson. Rome saying, poor predictable Greeks always fighting in a this form. Meanwhile, the Greeks, good old
can we not say
phalanx. Nothing beats that.
Phalanx?
I don't
Can we not say that anymore?
Very well for him. I mean, I get sticking to tradition, but
What's wrong with
I guess
phalanx?
you can't stick to that all the time. Terrain is also a pretty big factor.
Dude, the phalanx was OP. Like, it was unstoppable basically till like guns. They used it forever. Greeks are going to do it. Romans. Just, dude, get some shields, get a big pointy stick, come together, and you're like a tank. What are you going to do about it? Okay, you don't have bombs yet.
College, nothing interested you? Nah, I barely got in. Well, I kind of liked history, Napoleon, the Roman Empire. Wait, the Sopranos guy is me? Literally me. I didn't graduate though. He's better than me. Oh, so you're a history nerd. Name
Drew,
5 wars that didn't involve European countries or the US. Do you have any idea how many times Japan fought with China? Or how many times China fought with China?
Not as many as you think.
I think everyone that watches my channel can do this. Gotta mention
Not
the Triple Alliance
not as many
War.
as you think. Just only more recently. Japan for centuries was closed off their borders and just no in, no out. It wasn't until they industrialized and became imperial with the Meiji Restoration that they started messing with China significantly.
Or the Paraguayan War. Or you could literally go with the hundreds of different wars the Great Mongol Empire got themselves into. More Asia versus Asia. Now that I think about it, everyone pretty much fought China at one point or another. How about the Emu Wars? And big thanks to my patrons. Destiny Ducker 9000. Sebi, if you hear this, I love you.
Too many voices. Final thoughts. All right, another great history compilation of memes from Drew. That's a lot of good stuff. There were a couple things inserted there. I guess, it moves so fast that I was learning about it. I'm still learning from the memes, man. The memes could be the vehicle to get you interested in history. That's why you should share them with people. That's why I put them in my presentations, right? Memes make dreams. Thanks again for Drew being cool with me covering his stuff. Everybody should be subbed and viewing his stuff. If you like into memes or into history, I mean, he's kind of the guy. So with that, y'all, we'll see you next time.